When to praise and when to spank. Today asks a question about her girlfriend who has been working on herself and has lost a fair bit of weight. Opie has indulged in her praise kink by telling her repeatedly what a good job she's doing. However, the girlfriend is now reporting back that she feels like she's getting too big for her boots and needs to feel like she has to, quote, work for her praise. While she has a praise kink, his girlfriend also has a rejection/chase kink, and now he's having a difficult time reconciling this. Is she sending him conflicting signals here, or is there balance that needs to be struck here?
I think this is one of those fascinating areas where you can see fairly clearly that this is a relationship issue that happens in 1,000 ways in 1,000 relationships that in this moment happens to be framed through the lens of kink. But most relationships don't do well if the number of positive to negative interactions, if the ratio is less than 5-1. Relationships also tend not to do well if the positive to negative ratio is more than 11-1. Too much positivity also creates a negative experience because you don't have someone to push against. There isn't a person there. It's just a yes man. This is sort of what's playing out here. It's just through the lens of kink, which is nothing more than smoke and mirrors in this case. The real issue is if you can't say no, your yes doesn't mean anything. And if you can't say, hey, you screwed up over here, then you're saying, hey, great job, doesn't mean anything. That is what they're running into. She is losing her submissive respect for her dominant because he never tells her no. That's not a praise kink. That's a lack of leadership and direction. Leadership on a very core level is, hey, wherever you're at, I'm going to raise the bar a little bit. Not to an unhittable place, because that creates too many negative interactions, but to a point where you fall short now and then. That doesn't have to be specifically around weight loss. That could be in other areas. But if she feels like she's never, ever falling short and she never gets the spank, then it is not enticing for her because it doesn't feel like she's being led. It doesn't feel like she's being challenged by her partner who is supposed to be leading her. And so I think that's more of a relational issue that just happens to be framed in kink terms here. I also would say that there's so much tiptoeing around the notion of weight nowadays, especially for women, that straightforward communication has become difficult just because there's a bunch of what I would consider nonsense, like beautiful at any size. It's like, no, if you're 800 pounds, you're not, period. And so the challenge then is being able to praise progress, which does deserve praise because it's a hard thing to do. Losing weight is very difficult, versus the truth of, hey, this is something you need to keep going with and it's not good enough. Or if that subject is too sensitive for his girlfriend, and it may be, and I think that's okay too, she needs to feel it in some other area. She needs to feel that she is working to please him and that his praise, and this is the key phrase actually, so I'm going to slow down here, that his praise is earned, not given. Praise only has value to the degree that it is truly earned, and there is a certain point at which you know the level of effort you put in is not worthy of the level of praise you're receiving, and that starts to feel disingenuous and false. I think that's the balance he has missed. He's making it a little too easy to get the praise, and I think he knows it. He knows he's giving it, and he's trying to do it for the best of reasons to indulge her praise kink, but the praise kink itself actually is around earning praise, not just being given praise.
But you could reformulate this entire thing into stating that this guy has just turned into the nice guy, right? Where he just tells her how beautiful she is and how wonderful she is all the time. There's a very good reason that women will say that they're attracted to the nice guys, but they're actually wanting to also have a bit of an asshole in the guy that they're with. They don't want him to be a nice guy all the time.
At least the capacity for it. That goes back to the king archetype, the capacity for tyranny. If the king doesn't have a bite, then he's not really the king. It's only because he has the ability to enforce his will, that then he doesn't have to enforce it as often. I think women want someone who has the capacity to do and say the harsh things when it's needed, and not someone who does it when it's not needed. There's a bit of wisdom there that women are looking for, but a guy who is too caught up in being nice, who cannot say and do the harsh things, will lose respect, just as the guy who is an asshole all the time unnecessarily will ultimately betray her trust, and she will leave for safety reasons. There is a phrase also, actually, I'm so captivated by this phrase in the context of dating that I'm sure I will bring this up over and over again, but it's from Ogilvy. Let me see if I can get it right. He says, the problem with market research, and you can consider any dating survey, any sort of asking women what they want sort of thing in this context, is the problem with market research is that people don't think how they feel, they don't say what they think, and they don't do what they say. The issue there is, yeah, women may say, oh, I want a nice guy, but it's not how they feel, and it's not what they end up doing. And so it's something that people say, just like guys say, oh yeah, you're 200 pounds, but you're so beautiful. The hot Victoria's Secret model shows up and wants to have sex. Believe me, he's going to feel it. So the thing is, what people do, what they genuinely feel, is much closer to kink than what they say. That's the problem, is that reporting carries an inherent inaccuracy. So I'm sure we'll return to that on many subjects, but there's one more area where it comes up.